Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old.
And you're mentally engaged. As Doc says, 15 minutes of fame has turned into 1.5 minutes of viral TikTok. And this one he says, I catch myself making decisions that I know undermine myself, normally out of fear of things actually going well for a change. It scares me and I so sabotage myself. Doc, I think you just said what I was trying to say, and I really think that is exactly what I do. I think there's a fear of success that I have, like a, a fear of actually being who I am in my mind. You know what I mean? A fear of accomplishment, a fear of like being ahead of my family. Like, you know what I mean? Like a fear of totally being separated from them in a way where I'm like, I've moved on. Like I know that the stuff that a lot of these people around me they do, I don't do, and I really shouldn't be in the same boat with them. You know, I think that there was a time in my life where people called me successful, and it scared me, and I think that I felt like I was separated, you know, from like my family and stuff, and I felt like I had become a bad person or something like that. And I think part of the reason why I ended up where I am in my life now is because, you know, it's like you, I got scared and was like, abandon my people or whatever. It's like, am I not like these other people? I had a really long conversation with my boss one time, and she said, "You're a conservative," you know. She says, "That's what you are. You're a conservative, you know. You are, you know, you're exceptional. You pulled yourself up by your bootstraps, you know." And but I'm always defending liberal stuff, you know, and I was even in this conversation, and she was like, "But that's not you." That you know, and you know that's not you. uh so but this is a struggle that I'm having within myself, you know. And like what Doc just said, I think that that's what we do. I think that's what I do. Like I'll be on the precipice of making this huge great change or something, or this great accomplishment, and then I take two. My boss used to tell me, he says, you take one step forward and then you take two steps back.
Damn. Well, I would agree with the conservative part, and I think sometimes, like, yeah, I mean, I think all of us want to be liked, but I think a part of what, you know, like if everybody's on the same shit, nobody gets better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we don't have conflicting views with people, like if everybody just says, because I mean, that's one of the biggest problems I have with society as it is right now is that like everything is okay, like any and everything is cool, and you know, like I think there has to be a cutoff point of certain things, you know, things that we just say no, like just is intolerable, like you just cannot. This just no, this can't happen. This is not going to happen, and it shouldn't be just a few of us saying that because you know if we looking to build a future for you know because I mean there's really no point to be alive if you're not gonna try to you know make things better for the future for your children for grandchildren just I mean if you have none I mean at least be a somebody that you know an advocate for you know those.
Leave things better than I 100% agree with you. It's like the Native American, the Aboriginal Americans had a saying where they said like leave things better than you found them, whatever. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Doc says they had 120 years of they didn't have 120 years of film to steal from. Talking about how they had to be creative. That's why that stuff you can go back right now and look at that stuff and enjoy it way better. I can't watch TV; it's so trash right now. Let me read this comment. Doc says, if things are going well, I tend to start looking for the catch. And then when I find it, I use it as an excuse to tear down what I've built or to convince myself I didn't earn it. And I think I do that too. Like he said, when things are going well, I tend to look for the catch. I think it's me the childhood I went through, and it's like lots of disappointment, you know, and you think that, you know, this is going to happen, but it totally goes into like a tragedy. And then this happens over and over again. So like even as an adult, I'm like waiting for the tragedy. Oh,
Mm-mm.
oh, that's so freaking sad. Doc says, without the discussion, there's no progress. Yep. That's why we do the show. And but us talking to ourselves, I think, is a thing because that's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the ego. My ego is a problem.
Hmm.
And it's kind I think about the what is it, Homer Simpson with the red devil on one side and the white devil on the other one, and they're like in his, talking in his ear, like
Hmm.
whenever he has to make a decision, and that's that red devil and that white devil don't really exist. That's him
Both
battling
of
with
them are him.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them are him. I mean, that's the polarities. I mean, that's the nature. That's the nature of the beast. And you know, I think that we all have those things sometimes, but I think some of us may not be using it because we're totally programmed. Like it's just whatever I'm told, and like
Yeah.
you're like a
You're not
private
thinking.
yeah, you're a
Zombie
private
robot.
and yeah, you're a private in the army, and you just take orders. Whatever is they said, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and
And this is what
like
I'm
that's
supposed to
just
do. And that's one of the reasons why I fight against traditions a lot because I'm so afraid of being a zombie robot. And traditions, the holidays, all of these things are set up for you. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. My ex, we used to have arguments. She would, because she would say, "You're supposed to do this," and I'm like, "I'm not in the business of doing what I'm supposed to do." Like,
oh
I'm
damn.
sorry, that's just not what I'm into. Like, and whatever I feel is right, I feel it right with my spirit. Then and it still falls in line with some kind of tradition. Boom, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna do it just because that's what I'm supposed to do.
That's what everybody else know. What everybody else says I'm supposed to do.
That's
Co-
what's set up for you in whatever society or culture that you live in. There's a set of things, traditions that's it's all set up for you with the holidays. Let me read this one. Doc says, I feel if things are going well, I'm being set up. And that's how I feel. Like, I feel like, it's got to be.
But you
Where's,
are, but you are, but you're afraid of this. You're afraid of the setup because I mean, getting set up is not necessarily a bad thing. Like it's a like a lot of times there's a bad connotation to it. But I mean, I mean, you're supposed to either set yourself because the parents set their children up all the time for a good future. We set ourselves up for a better future for whatever it is, like going, you go to school, you go, whatever it is, you're setting yourself up. So like, let's not all. That's like even the word use. Like I don't, what I'm saying, I don't mind being used. But that's the thing is like, oh, he used me. Like, well, that's kind of what's supposed to happen with humans. Now, if he's using you in a way that you don't approve of, now that's something we can talk about. But just basically saying, yeah, I mean,
we're all
what?
using each other for something, and that's how it is. And in a healthy relationship, then both parties are getting what they want out of it.
Yes,
So then
and
that's it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
balance.
but I mean, but I think there's some people who feel like if they get used at all, men too. This is not just women. I guess it's
Yeah.
I deal with women, but I mean, I'm sure there's guys that. I mean, I know that there's guys that do the same thing. It's like, nah, man, she tried to use. I said, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had conversations with different people. It's just like, no, it's okay to be used and to use people, but to take advantage. Now, that's a totally different.
I think that people don't really understand what you're saying, and it's because they've been brainwashed so heavily,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why they don't understand this concept of, I mean, you have to use a step stool to get up to where you need to get so you can grab something. If you need it, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, to accomplish what you need to accomplish,
U
and that
five two. U 5'2". The cabinet is 7'4". foot tall. You need a couple of steps. You know what I'm saying? You need a little short ladder so you can get up there and get what you need. I mean, and it's just and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
It's
fine.
okay as long as it's not in a way like parasitic, in a way that causes harm to the other, because it's
Yeah.
like the latter is happy for you to use it. That gives it a reason to be. Like, I hate to use that. This is a terrible analogy because then we're going to talk about people being objects, and I don't like that. When we was watching that, well, when I was talking about Squid Game, and it was a part in that show that really, really, it still strikes me to this day when I think about it, because they were using people like as chairs and stuff. Like, it was a scene in there where the VIPs were up in the room and they were watching the game, and they had people there who were like chairs and couches and shit. Like, that's how they used them. Like, I was like, oh man, that's so terrible. And the other guy wanted to use the guy for sex, and he wasn't down with that. Ended up killing him. But looking at people as objects is a thing that bothers me a lot.
Well,
So
I
I
mean,
didn't mean to use that analogy.
well,
That
no,
was not
but
good.
see, the thing is we do have to be more comfortable with accepting reality, because we are physical beings as well as spiritual and mental, and like we have all of these different facets. So I mean, just making a comment, I mean, somebody that's very simple will try to make something out of that statement. But for those who are wise enough, smart enough to accept the fact that, okay, they know that that's not what you mean, that's not what what I'm saying, you don't mean this person to be just what I'm saying, just a piece of meat to you.
Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti?